school education really teaches just the mechanic. It teaches about period, blood, hygiene, and period products. But they don't teach what matters most, how to feel safe in a changing body, that blood isn't shameful, it's sacred, that cycles are about power, not pain, about the importance of ovulation other than from the lensing of pregnancy. And they're completely missing that it's so important to teach girls how to read their body so they can predict when their period is coming. What girls need is not just biology. They need initiation. They need someone to say, what's happening in your body is wise, normal, and beautiful. You're not alone in it. And when a girl doesn't get that, when it's secret women's business, when it is unspoken, when she is handed just a pad and left to figure it out, shame fills the gap. And that shame stays with her for decades. Welcome, love, to Wild Flow, the podcast for wild and wise women, devoted to honoring your body's wisdom, reclaiming your cyclical power, and walking as a feminine leader in life, love, and through your soul work and purpose. I'm Charlotte Puanto, embodiment coach, ritual priestess, menstrual cycle educator, and feminine business mentor, here to guide soul-led women to step forward as their most magical, womb-awakened, authentic, and sovereign selves. On the podcast, we have rich and deep conversations with women I deeply admire who are leading the way in the reclamation of sacred feminine power. Ready for a new episode, my love? Let's flow. Hi, welcome back to Wild Flow. I'm Charlotte Puanto, menstrual cycle coach, priestess, feminine business mentor, and founder of the First Moon Circle School. Today's episode is deeply close to my heart. If you've ever thought, I wish I had this when I was younger, this one's for you. We're talking about why girls don't have to wait until their first period to begin healing, and particularly healing their relationship to their body, their cycle, and themselves, and why the First Moon Circle School is becoming a global movement for menstrual education, emotional well-being, and rite of passage work that honors our girls as sacred, powerful, and wise. This episode is not just about periods, it's about reclaiming our relationship with our body, with ritual, and with each other. Whether you're a parent, a coach, a mentor, a teacher, or a woman answering the call to become the guide that you never had, this conversation will help you see why menstrual education is one of the most potent forms of empowerment we can offer the next generation right now. I'll share why the first period, called menarche as a rite of passage, is a portal into self-worth and body confidence. How shame gets seeded early and how to disrupt that through conscious education. Why schools aren't enough and what holistic, inclusive, empowering menstrual education really looks like, and how you can become a certified menstrual educator for girls and a rite of passage facilitator with no prior experience needed. We are in open enrollment right now for the First Moon Circle Facilitator Training, which I've founded, and we now are over 150 facilitators spanning around the world, and doors are closing soon for our September training. If you've been feeling the pull, this is your time. So hit play, feel the spark, and let's reclaim the rite of passage we all deserve. Let's begin with the obvious. Every child gets access to menstrual education in school. It varies in which year this happens, and often it's happening after girls have already had their first period. More and more and more, the average age of a girl's first bleed is dropping. It's dropping slightly, but it's now not uncommon for girls aged 9 to have their periods. That's not even considered premature. Premature would be 8 and before. However, if the average school education is delivered in class 5 in Australia, That's the equivalent of year 6 in the UK, and that's for 11-year-olds. Then we're leaving it a little bit late. What's more is school education really teaches just the mechanics. It teaches about periods, it teaches about blood, it teaches about hygiene and period products. But they don't teach what matters most: how to feel safe in a changing body, that blood isn't shameful, it's sacred, that cycles are about power, not pain, about the importance of ovulation other than from the lensing of fertility and fear around pregnancy. And they are completely missing out that it's so important to teach girls how to read their body and read their cycle so that they can appreciate their ebbing and flowing energy, so they can predict when their period is coming, and so they can understand that they won't always feel the same, even in relation to how they participate at school. What girls need is not just biology, they need initiation. They need someone to say, what's happening in your body is wise, normal, and beautiful. You're not alone in this. And when a girl doesn't get that, when it's secret women's business, when it is unspoken, when she is handed just a pad and left to figure it out, shame fills the gap. And that shame stays with her for decades. When schools avoid emotion, ritual, and depth, they miss the opportunity to support a girl's inner world, her full self esteem, and her developing sense of self. And many, many parents do rely on schools to provide this education because they don't know how to have these conversations with their child themselves. And so the schools step in to do it. However, teachers are not very well trained, if at all, to have these conversations. They're often bringing in their own discomfort and sense of shame and, oof, let's get this over and done with. They don't have the appreciation of the full menstrual cycle. They are bringing in their own lived experience. So, of course, the girls in class and even the boys, if they are picking up on it, are sensing all of this shame and embarrassment, internalizing it, and creating the message that they can't ask for help. This is not something to be talked about. This is something to pretend is not happening. If I talk about it, I might get laughed at or mocked. If I act like I don't know what I'm doing, I might be teased. The teacher doesn't really want to talk about this with me, so I can't either. But the thing is, we shouldn't be leaving this only up to schools. We can complement what is happening in schools, and we can beat schools to it by supporting our daughters early so that they already have a rich understanding, a positive sense of self, and a positive relationship to their body and the cycle. So when they have their school session, they're already feeling empowered and they already have a sense of what is normal for them. Schools don't have to be the place of change. You can be the wise woman who gathers girls and says, let's talk. And that's what First Moon Circles do. Every woman who has ever joined my First Moon Circle facilitator training comes because she wants to support girls. But what happens and what the program is designed to do is that she gets supported too. So let me share with you what I see again and again. A woman comes over and she's unsure. Am I enough to teach this? Do I know enough? Have I reclaimed my cycle enough? Will I be able to answer all of their questions? Will I be able to hold a room full of girls? They're carrying their own menstrual shame, their own trauma, their own awkwardness. But through our sacred red thread work, something opens. Through the training process, they get to meet the version of themselves that experienced their menarche and who never had this space for themselves. They remember, they soften, they release, and they reclaim themselves. The power of their body, the wisdom they hold within, and their readiness and their enoughness to share and initiate girls. into the wisdom that they wish they'd had. You begin to see the women sharing that the wisdom I'm offering these girls, I needed it too, and now I get to be the one who gives it. That is generational healing. That's the ripple effect. When you're holding these circles, you're not just holding the girls, you're repairing your own lineage and the lineage of the girls and the mothers who come. So, what are first moon circles? What do they look like? Let me paint the picture. First moon circles are a one off, life changing gathering for girls aged 9 to 12. They come with their mums, carers, aunties, and sometimes even alone. We sit in circle, we share stories, we talk about body changes, periods, and products, but in a way that's really fun, empowering, and age appropriate. The first 2 hours is girls only, and that is where we make sure that we find out what the girls already know, and then we fill in all of the gaps so that they aren't just knowing the basics. They're bringing to life a really rich picture and understanding of the way that their body cycles through 4 seasons in every menstrual cycle. The girls are getting curious. They're asking questions. They're asking even the questions that they've been holding in and couldn't even feel like they could ask their mum about. Slowly, the room softens and we normalize what school made awkward. We offer a new story that getting your period is not scary, it's sacred. And then, afterwards, we welcome the mums for more ritual, tea, and celebration. It's the time when we teach mums all of the things that they didn't know either. We have conversations so that the daughters can see their mums openly conversing and sharing about what it's like to have a cycle. We have a beautiful bonding, blessing ritual where daughters get to feel seen and celebrated by their mothers. It creates open relationships ahead of the teenage years when children naturally individuate and turn more to their friends than to their families. So we are setting mother up with the support that she needs and with the healing and reclamation she needs of her own cycle. And we are empowering the girls to walk through their future rite of passage with confidence, with guidance, with support, and with wisdom. It's simple, it's beautiful, and it's profoundly moving. And what I love, and the reason why I created First Moon Circles as a facilitator training, is that you don't have to invent this all on your own. In the training, we give you everything you need to host your own circles, rather than reinventing the wheel and making sure you're touching all of the right points and hosting a space that is trauma-informed, inclusive, and caters for different learning styles, and that you're able to hold any question that might come your way. If you've been listening and you're feeling the call, you're not alone. This work calls the right woman at the right time. Inside the First Moon Circle Facilitator training, you'll receive a 4-month internationally accredited certification, trauma-informed and inclusive facilitation tools, ready-to-use lesson plans, meditations, booking templates, and business systems, ongoing support and mentorship in facilitation, in womb healing, in rites of passage facilitation, in marketing, in business mindset, as well as strategy to call in your own community, and lifetime access to a global facilitator sisterhood. So whether you feel called first to share this knowledge and wisdom with your own child, but whether you can see the potential beyond this of sharing with your community, or you're keen to go into schools, or to make this knowledge part of your coaching or wellness business, the First Moon Circle Facilitator training gives you the method, the magic, the support to make it real, to take this and to run with it and to adapt it. So many of our facilitators come in and they offer First Moon Circles as given to them, but then they also adapt the lesson plan take the knowledge and learning that they've received, and they create their own programs as follow-ons, either additional circles and ongoing support for girls. They create their own schools programs or use ours. They create circles and workshops for women. They provide father-daughter guidance and online programs as well. There's so many ways that this training will support you to heal your own lineage, to support your child as a mother, and to really amplify your business and cement your place as a certified menstrual educator for girls first and foremost, and to support others in this healing work as well. So if this is calling you, please know enrollments for our training round close on Friday, the 8th of August. We have our opening ceremony on the 20th of August, and Module 1 begins the 1st of September. After that, doors won't open again until mid-2026. If you've been feeling the pull, don't wait, because the truth is that so many girls around the world, particularly right now, really need our support. They need guidance. They need the wise women to step forwards, and they need to know that it is possible to be proud of their bodies and proud of themselves, and to fight for the rights that we are losing right now, where women's sovereignty and agency and body sovereignty is being eradicated. And we do know from research that a girl who has a disempowering menarche takes that imprint with her through every menstrual cycle that she will have, through her pregnancy, and she will have a birth experience as she becomes a mother, the rite of passage of matrescence, that is impacted by her menarche, by the shame and the disconnection that she has felt around her body, by the story that she was shown that she needed to deal with it by herself and that she could not trust her body. She will outsource her agency to others to make decisions for her, and she will be potentially re-traumatized. And this gets carried through how we mother and into our menopause experiences and beyond. But it is, of course, like anything, not set in stone. There is always moments for healing and for reclamation. And so this is what the training offers to the women who step in to become facilitators, so that we are embodied, positive, and that we have tended to our own stories, our own experiences, and our own shame, so we are not passing this on to the next generation. And at the same time, we're supporting girls to not have to walk that path and learn all of this information in their 30s or 40s and have to go back and wish that they had known aged 9, 10, 11, 12. What is rightfully theirs? Let's help them learn this from the start. So please apply now and step into this sacred work that you were born to lead. Whether you have any experience working with children, working in the women's health space, whether you have held a circle, whether you have any business at all, or whether you are changing from another career entirely, you are welcome here. We give you everything that you need and beyond to come in. So let me leave you with this. One of our original First Moon Circle facilitators, Giselle Pitt, she shared just yesterday that as she held her very First Moon Circle for this year, after having held many, many circles for at least 5 years, she really felt the power of this work once again. I'd love to read you what Giselle wrote on her Instagram. It's been a while since my last circle, but today I had the absolute honor of hosting my First Moon Circle for the year, and far out, it was so bloody good. You know when something is truly right because everything just falls into place. That joy, pride, excitement, satisfaction, and deep gratitude all swirl together as a result of the work you've poured your heart into. That was today. Today I had the opportunity to step back into the sacred work that I love. I'll admit I was nervous, just like the girls sitting in circle with me. But as the morning unfolded, everything flowed so naturally. The girls were curious. They asked questions. They laughed. And little by little, you could feel the room soften. What started as an awkward topic slowly became a conversation filled with intrigue and ease. One girl shared, "At school, they make it feel awkward, and it sounds scary." Her words struck a chord with me. I remembered my own daughter's experience many moons ago, and it reminded me exactly why I chose to learn and share this work. I don't claim to know it all. I'm forever learning. But what I do love is that I get to be part of so many lives, gently helping to normalize these conversations, making the menstrual cycle feel less like a secret and more like a sacred and empowering part of life. I'm really looking forward to getting back into the rhythm of sharing. After all, knowledge is power. And Giselle is one of our original facilitators, and she is one of our mentors on our program, providing in training support to our students to help them to get their circles up and running and call in community and to step into their leadership. So if you've ever wished someone had guided you, and if you'd ever thought, why didn't I get this when I needed it? If you feel the ache to offer your own children or your community something better, this is your invitation. You are the wise woman they've been waiting for, and your time is now. So step in, become part of the legacy, become part of the First Moon Circle family. Reclaim the rite of passage we all deserved. Enrollments for this round close on Friday, the 8th of August, and the next round won't open until mid 2026. So if this is on your heart, don't wait for some day. Apply now. Step in. You'll find the link in the show notes. Otherwise, head to firstmooncircleschool.com/training to find the full course details and to grab the application form. Applications need to be made and accepted by Friday, the 8th of August, so that you can enter into this year's round. Come on and end the year with the certificate and training under your belt so that you can begin the new year really turning passion into your purpose, really here to make a difference. Come and walk your talk and embody this knowledge and wisdom for yourself, and let that ripple spread far and wide through your family, through your community, and beyond. Before I go, there's one more thing I really want to say. This episode has been about preparing girls for their first period before it arrives, and why menstrual education and emotional support can begin well before that day ever comes. But I also know that for many of you listening, you didn't get this. I didn't get this either. We didn't have a circle. We didn't have an open, shame free conversation. We didn't have this knowledge. We didn't have someone to sit with us and say, "This is powerful. This is sacred. You're not alone." Maybe you were left to figure it out by yourself. Maybe it felt like a secret or something to hide. Maybe no one told you it was okay to feel proud of your body. If you felt grief or shame or anger about what you didn't get, but you're really burning for your child to have a different experience to you, I want you to know that you're not too late. However old you are and however old she is, you can heal the story. You can step into this work, whether as a facilitator, a mother, an auntie, or a woman who simply wants to change the narrative. Because every time we support a girl to feel proud, safe, and seen in her body, we also heal a younger part of ourselves. And when we gather girls in a sacred circle, it's not just about them, it's for the girl that you once were. That's the beauty of this work. It's not just teaching, it's remembering, it's giving voice and honoring of what was missing. It's becoming the wise woman that you once needed. So, if you've ever felt that longing to give back what you didn't receive, and if you've ever caught yourself thinking, "Oh, I wish I had this when I was younger," know this, that this longing, it is a calling, and that calling is sacred. You're right on time. We do this work inside this training so that each of our facilitators is embodied in honoring their cycle whether they're actually bleeding now or not, of understanding how to live cyclically, of having tended to the stories that we have lived. And in doing so, we're sharing stories, we're healing these parts of ourselves so we can show up for the children in our power, with patience, with care, with love. We're not being triggered ourselves by mothers or by the children and what they're bringing. We're able to sit and we're able to meet and listen and hold whatever comes into that room with safety and with integrity. But we're also doing it so that we can walk our talk. We can live in a cyclical way. We can practice rest when we need to. We can practice understanding and listening to our intuition as it speaks to us through our cycle. And for those of us who aren't cycling anymore, you're not too late either, because it's always possible to live in a cyclical way, even without a menstrual cycle in your body, hormonally driving your cycles and seasons. We can attune to the other seasons and cycles of the earth and the moon and of our lives. We can honor that. It's about embracing all parts of who we are, all sides of what makes us human and feminine, and really bring that back. That is the celebration, the safe space to create legacy, to pass on the wisdom down the generations so they don't have to live through decades of disconnection and distrust in our bodies. They can have that connection nourished, honored, sacred right from the start. So if your path leads you into circle with us, I'd be honored to walk it with you. Doors to the First Moon Circle facilitator training are closing. And if you're not ready for that, then come and join the waitlist to hear about information for future rounds of training. And there's also, if you're interested in connecting with your cycle, I've got a couple of smaller programs that you can join and participate in at your own time and space. They are guided practices, guided rituals that will help you to reconnect to the knowledge and wisdom and power of your womb and of your cycle. First of all, we've got blood magic, which is a really beautiful ritual guided to help you connect to the visioning power, the intuitive power of your body, and to set yourself up for a healthy menstrual cycle ahead. How you start is how you mean to go on. So come and discover blood magic. The second is making herstory, which is the first couple of modules essentially from the facilitator training. It is a self-paced, self-guided process, taking you back to connect with your maiden self, your menarche self, to understand rites of passages and the power that they hold and why we celebrate them, to understand how this time of your life is still shaping you and who you are and how you're living even now. And celebrations, rituals, meditations, and journeying to honor and reclaim whatever was lost or disconnected from that lives in you that you can reclaim right here and now. So it's the deep healing work, the rite of passage work that we explore at the start of the First Moon Circle facilitation training. This is called Making Herstory. If that calls you, then you can check it out. And if you then enroll in the First Moon Circle facilitation training after that, you can use the cost of either of those two programs as credit towards your training. So, loves, that red thread that connects us, it's always open. Thank you for being part of this reclamation for yourself, for your children, for your communities, and ultimately for the world. If you've got any questions at all, come find me on Instagram at charlotte.puanto.coach or head to our First Moon Circle School Instagram at first_moon_circles to find out much more about what we're up to and what our facilitators are up to. And if you have any questions, you can also DM me there. Blessed be. Thank you so much for listening, my love. To reclaim your wild feminine power, magic, and flow is an act of sacred rebellion, and it's needed now more than ever. Share this episode with a sister, share on socials, leave a review, and support this podcast and movement to grow and deepen around the world. To discover, activate, and embody your sacred feminine leadership archetype, take the quiz now at charlottepuanto.com/quiz to find if you're a mystic, muse, connector, or challenger to become the feminine leader you're born to be. And until next time, my love, be devoted to your body as guide, your cycle as oracle, and your sisterhood as allies.